Hi Calvary kids, welcome back. Over the last couple weeks, we have learned about the rise of King David, one of the most famous kings in the Bible. And last week, we saw God promise David that the greatest king ever, Jesus, would be born to David's family. Though David wasn't perfect and made many mistakes, God favored him because he possessed many great qualities. This week, we will look at one of these characteristics in greater detail, kindness. Let's dive into this story. Find a spot to sit crisscross applesauce. Let's grab our telescope. Adjust a little. Who is that? Oh, it's Nephibosheth, Jonathan's son. Remember, Jonathan was David's best friend, and Jonathan died in battle. Let's dive in. Hang on. We are at David's palace, and we see King David sitting on a throne with a former servant of Saul, Ziba, bowing down to him. We hop up, and then we bow down as well. David wears a crown and says, "Are you Ziba?" And Ziba says, "At your service." David smiles and says, "I want to show some kindness to someone from Saul's family. Is anyone still alive?" We jump up and touch our knees because it is awesome that David wants to be kind to his enemy's family. If you missed your knees, let's try again. And hop. Ziba says, "Yes, there is someone still alive. Jonathan's son, the one whose feet were injured, is still alive." David asks for Jonathan's son, Nephibosheth, to be brought to him. We need to fast forward through the Bible times a little bit. So we come down and we pretend to be a peacock. We put our feet together, straight out in front of us. We put our hands together over our heads. Like a peacock opens its feathers and looks beautiful, we open our feet outward, and then we close them, and then we open them outward to our shoulders. Then we close again, and now open again, turning our feet out with our arms to shoulder height, and close, and open. David is doing a beautiful thing by opening his house to Nephibosheth. He is being kind and generous, and close. We see Nephibosheth arriving. David's servants open the doors, and Nephibosheth comes into the room and goes onto his knees and bows to David. We notice Mephibosheth is trembling and looks pretty scared. Why do you think he would be scared? Maybe because he is the grandson of Saul, the king who tried to kill David. Mephibosheth probably thinks David wanted to see him so he could kill him. But we know that's not David's plan at all. David, wearing his crown, says, "Mephibosheth, at your service," he says, sounding terrified. We stand up. Well, sort of stand up. We balance on our knees because Mephibosheth has injured his feet. David says, "Don't be afraid. I made a promise to your father, Jonathan, and I want to show you kindness for your father's sake." Boy, does Mephibosheth look relieved. Phew. "I will give you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul. Also, I want you to eat all of your meals at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down again. "Why would you show such kindness to someone like me?" We know the answer to that. It's because God wanted David to be kind to others and keep his promises. We come onto our hands and knees and we straighten our legs one at a time. And we walk forward. 1, 2, 3. We come up to a stand and we widen our arms as David tells Ziba to take care of Saul's land and farm it. Move your arms like you are using a rake. Come back to a seated position with your legs straight out. You're going to pretend to be a peacock again. Remember how beautiful peacocks look when they are open. Their feathers, just like David opened his palace to Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth lived at the palace and ate all of his meals at King David's table, as if he were one of King David's own sons. Close up your peacock feathers and close your eyes as we come back out of this Bible story. Thanks, Calvary kids. Today we saw how David was gracious and kind towards Mephibosheth. God likes it when we are kind and gracious to other people. Our memory verse this unit is, "The Lord will keep all of his promises. He is faithful in everything he does." That's Psalm 145, verse 13. God keeps his promises to David and eventually sends Jesus, who is always gracious and kind to everyone. That's it today. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week.